This is a Hot Pie Media original.
There's a lot to this. This is a funny setup. I don't think this is going to end very well. I know that he is running because he received the blessing of D. Trump, and that's all that matters now for the Republican Party. This is one of those times I might suggest to you be careful what you wish for. The Donald Trump Herschel Walker relationship is interesting. I could go in a variety of directions here. I could go the two of them and their football history. I can go in the direction of Herschel Walker's football history. We can go into the issues of Herschel Walker. We can go into the issues of Donald Trump being a crybaby about not getting in the NFL. I mean, there's a bunch to this. Believe it or not, these two go way, way back. I don't think it's going to end well. First off, the setup. This really is their relationship is the stuff of documentaries, except there was a documentary about them and him. And there's been plenty of documentaries about Herschel Walker, the player. There's Herschel Walker, the legendary great player. I would put Herschel Walker on a list of easily since the mid-'70s, one of the 5 most dominating college players of all time. He might be in the top 3. Another, oddly enough, would be Tim Tebow. I'm talking about college alone. But Herschel Walker's, certainly in this state, and for Cowboys fans, he means a lot. He is, first of all, it was a legendary career, freakishly talented player as a college player. I would say not so much as a pro, but whatever. Then you've got the history of he and Trump and the USFL, which not many people even remember now, and how Trump ruined it. He ruined it. Then you've got his time in Dallas and his significance. The Dallas Cowboys were a mid-'90s dynasty because of Herschel Walker not playing for the Cowboys. And then you've got post-football life. There's where I think the thing comes off the rails. Trump doesn't care because Trump just likes celebrities. He doesn't care about any sort of morality or any real details because this is where this thing should come off the rails. It seems odd on the front side that Herschel Walker, a legendary college player, a legendary figure in the state of Georgia, it seems a little weird that you are a he is a hand-picked Trump candidate for the Senate seat in Georgia. And you are handpicked by the guy whose claim to fame is, I got screwed over in election fraud, and your now wife is accused of election fraud. That doesn't seem like a great start. In fact, I think as the curtain is pulled back, I don't think this is going to end well. I don't think this is a good idea for Republicans. I think it's going to end up being an embarrassing idea for Republicans. Trump doesn't care. You have to do what he says, and all he cares about is celebrity, and I think this one backfires. And there's a few reasons why it should backfire. 1, Herschel Walker's a nut. 2, he's really dumb. 3, his wife is accused of election fraud. 4, his other wife had a restraining order against him. That's our starting point. That's not a good look. So here we go. University of Georgia, football hero at the University of Georgia before his National Football League career bookend with stints with the Dallas Cowboys, plans to run after changing his voter registration from Texas to Georgia. At some point, someone's probably going to probably call him out. Hey, you didn't even vote for Trump. He didn't vote at all. Whatever. Wouldn't it be fantastic, D. Trump says, wouldn't it be fantastic if the legendary Herschel Walker ran for United States Senate in Georgia, Trump said in March. He would be unstoppable, just like he was when he played for the Georgia Bulldogs and the NFL. He's also a great person in all caps. It's relative. It's Trump saying that, so who knows? Run, Herschel, run! Exclamation point, says D. Trump. So sure enough, got the blessing. You're in. He's in. And then the curtain's going to get pulled back. I find it odd. First of all, again, there's different ways to go with this. I find it odd that Trump mentions the NFL and doesn't mention the USFL. I find that really weird. Football history lesson for you real quickly. There's a very good documentary on this. USFL, United States Football League, was up and coming. Donald Trump owned a team called the New Jersey Generals. Trump and his prototype seemed like a pretty good idea on the front end. It ended up wrecking the league. He ruined the league. He killed it off, and it had a pretty good chance to make it. But he had an idea on the front end. He's just going to go get superstar players. So he gets Herschel Walker, who was the biggest star of the college game. He signs Herschel Walker to a contract with the Generals. He signs Doug Flutie. So essentially went after the most high-profile college players you could come up with, and the league got off to a pretty decent start. It seemed like, we all had to pay attention. I had plenty of friends that played, teammates of mine. And so it gets off to an interesting start because it's full of stars. And the documentary about the death of the USFL, first of all, it should be pointed out that if you wonder why Donald Trump goes on rants about the NFL, it's because it eats him up that he couldn't get an NFL franchise. Story goes that he was begging and begging and begging, pretending he had the money to own an NFL franchise. The commissioner met with him, and other owners said, "Nope, your credit's no good here, buddy. You're out." And he was furious. Gets the New Jersey Generals. Somebody throws money at the Generals. The USFL gets off to a pretty decent start. Had a TV contract with ESPN. Pretty good brand of football. Star power, which is what you need. And it looked like things were going well. So Trump, I would assume the documentary says also, in his obsession with getting the NFL back, decided to try to move the league to compete directly with the NFL. Moved the league to the fall. Sued the league and won all of $1, and then the league folded because that fool moved it to the fall. It would have made it. So then the players that were in the USFL, like Herschel Walker, Doug Flutie, others, they found their way to the NFL. So there's that part of it. There's that interesting relationship of the two of them from the very beginning. Then, from what I understand, Herschel Walker was also on his show, The Apprentice. That's what's reported. I don't know. And so that's the way it works with Trump. If he likes your celebrity, he thinks you're going to kiss his ass, then you get the blessing. So this is what the Republicans are stuck with, a guy who didn't even vote for Trump, a guy with a restraining order against him, a guy whose current wife is accused of voter fraud. Typically not the dots that you'd want to connect to get off to a good start. Is the Fox News going to crowd suck up to him? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't think he'll handle this well. He was a fantastic college player, pretty good pro, helped the Cowboys by being traded, helped the Cowboys win multiple championships. I frankly think he was an underachieving pro, but whatever. But the rest after that it's not a good look. Washington Post now reporting Walker's turbulent personal history could become a talking point in the race. After 12 years of playing in the NFL, Walker shared his past struggles with mental health and dissociative identity disorder. He wrote a book, Breaking Free, My Life with Dissociative Identity Disorder. An Associated Press report also documented alleged violence against his ex-wife, Cindy Grossman, and a divorce. The AP report found Walker had allegedly clashed with business partners and overstated claims with his chicken distribution business. She got a restraining order against him. Walker has echoed Trump's false claims that the election was fraudulently stolen by President Biden. But his wife, Juliette Blanchard, is under investigation by the Secretary of State after the Atlanta Journal-Constitution reported the records show she voted in Georgia despite living in Texas. Not that morality matters anymore, not that anything of substance matters anymore, certainly not in the world of Trump, but this guy is not a good choice. It's just not. I mean, You found somebody as flawed and as screwed up as Trump. Well, maybe it'll work just because Republicans don't care. But he didn't even vote for the guy. Didn't vote at all. Yeah, well, what matters is that Fox News will kiss up to him, so that's what's happening already.
Not because someone told me to be. I'm conservative because I believe in smaller government, a strong military, personal responsibility, and making sure all people have the opportunity to pursue their dreams. That's an America worth fighting for.
Herschel Walker at the 45.
My name is Herschel Walker, and I'm running for the United States Senate. I'm a kid from a small town in Georgia who's lived the American dream.
And Herschel Walker joins us. Herschel, great to see you. We've been friends a long time, and by the way, buckle up. You just entered the blood sport of politics, and I see the attacks already begun, and I laugh because I know you personally, and they are not going to be able to intimidate you. Even some Republicans will join in forces, and you will be staying in the race for sure. Why did you decide to make this jump? We need leaders like you. You are a leader, a natural-born leader.
Who didn't vote?
Well, first of all, Sean, let me say this here, that I want everyone to go to teamherschel.com, because you're right, the left and the right are coming after me.
Yeah.
But if the people want a fighter to go to Washington that are ready to get down in the swamp, you're looking at them right here.
Yeah.
Because I don't care. I don't want to sit on the sidelines anymore and see this country, see what's happening in this country, because this is not the America I grew up in.
But
it's
you
not
didn't
the
vote.
America.
Just want to point it out, man. I mean, it's a great story, man. I tell you, the highlights, I look forward to the highlights. He is, I can sit here and talk at length about it, trying to define that style, man. I think Bo Jackson was a better player, but very similar. This just freakishly slashing player, sort of define what I call as a slashing running back. You don't really have them in it much anymore. I'll keep talking, Herschel. You didn't vote.
I think we need to have a strong military. We cannot be give our word away. How in the world could you leave your allies? You gave them your word. How could you leave American people? You know, we need leaders that I said a long time ago to go to Washington and do what's right. And you're looking at them right here. That's why I told you right now, go to teamherschel.com and put me in Washington, and I guarantee you I'm going to fight for you.
And Sean Hannity follows up with what probing question? What?
You say that, and we've talked a lot over the years, and we've become friends over the years.
Friends.
What I think I want everybody to know about you is you are guided by your own principles. You did not get in this race with any idea that you were going to lose. And when I spoke to you recently, you said to me, Sean, my only goal here is to serve the people of Georgia. My whole life is because of Georgia. You told me that.
Except he wasn't living in Georgia, dork. He lived in Texas. Don't do it, Herschel, man. Don't. Don't do it. I don't want to rip you. Don't go here. Stay in your lane, man. Stay in your lane and don't vote. Get out of that restraining order. Tell the missus to stop cheating on voting or whatever she's accused of. Just stay in your lane, man. This is not going to ass kiss or Hannity, you buffoon. You say this guy's in the rough and tumble world of politics, and you forget to say that he didn't vote. We don't even know if he's ever voted, by the way. Such a leader. Herschel. The backstory to this is pretty fascinating, and I don't know. I mean, it was a nerdy discussion to debate him as a pro player, and I mean that's a separate issue. But the relationship with Trump and the relationship with the USFL is fascinating, and I doubt that this buffoon sitting here kissing his ass would ever bring it up about how interesting it is, their relationship with the USFL and how the USFL folded and why it folded, and Trump's obsession with the NFL. I suspect that won't come up. But if you want to say Herschel Walker owes Trump, I guess, yeah. I guess. Herschel Walker made that Generals team marketable. He made it. What's too bad is that Herschel Walker and the stars of the USFL, Jim Kelly for the Houston Gamblers, putting out a great brand of football. Some of teammates of mine doing a great job. He said, man, this thing is going to make it, until that fool Trump ruined it. Yeah, great idea. Take on the NFL, and good night. You lose. So this one, I don't know how people are going to react. I don't know if you're not allowed to pick on him because he's come out with this mental disorder. I don't know if you're not allowed. I don't know what the rules are, the kiss-ass rules of Fox for not picking the guy apart like anybody running for office. Not quite. It's going to be interesting to see how people react to him getting hammered. I don't know if he's going to get hammered that much, because I think people are going to feel a little guilty because he's come out with this disorder. But let's check the great leader comment when you didn't vote for Trump. John McClellan is the co-founder and creator of ATX Hot Sauce in all 50 states, now in several retail outlets as well. So we're going to turn it over to the social media rock chef superstar, and we're going to walk through a few sauces and why you should buy. We've done beet heat, so we're second in line now for the tasting. Don't forget, everyone, go to atxhotsauce.com. So here we go.
All right, so this one is our smoked habanero 5-pepper. We smoke habaneros with ancho,
Is that going to hurt?
This one? No,
Yeah.
This one's actually really, really good.
Okay.
This is like your traditional tapatía, but without the vinegar in it, right? And because of that fermentation process that we've talked about all the time. This one is great on sandwiches, pizzas, things like that. Great on hot wings. I think you're going to really like this one too, especially the smoky flavor with the adobe chipotle and the smoked habaneros. We actually smoked the habaneros before we.
Does that go with the cab?
This would not go with the cab. This would go with the great Chenin Blanc, though.
I teed you up with that one.
Yeah, yeah.
That is good. That's
Yeah,
good.
isn't that good? It's just classic take. Well, it's a new take on a classic item. So it's called smoked habanero 5-pepper.
All right, don't forget
One of my
ATX.
favorites.
Don't forget atxhotsauce.com. Hey, is anyone listening to Greg Abbott? I feel like he's sort of becoming like Milton in Office Space. It's like he's talking and telling everyone I'm passing laws, and is anyone really paying attention? What's he doing? He is, politically speaking, it's not working. It's not working. He's not even, I know some people would say, and I assume his marketing handlers who are getting money from him or somebody who are getting paid a lot are probably continually saying, hey, don't worry, it's all going to kick in. We're going to break through the clutter. We're going to bust out any day now. I mean, I'm sure they're telling him, oh, this is going to work out great, Governor. He's not even on the radar in polling data. He trails the Trump kids. He trails Ted Cruz, who's at 9% and will always be at 9%. So what's this really getting him? It's almost like, is he really trying now, or is he just doing it out of obligation? I almost feel like I don't want to say he's out, because I know people would say, hey, look, Governor, you got the ultimate moment. Remember, he had, in the race for the Mussolini Cup points, which I made that up, he had that moment with Trump down at the wall. He got to smile lovingly at Trump. He got to do the Trump walk-in song. He got to do all that stuff. He got to kiss Trump's ass. And that had to be worth something. And now look, months later, he's got nothing to show for it. I'm not even sure anyone even pays attention to him right now. He is now passed in another executive order, and I don't think anyone cares. He's not getting any traction on this. You can come up with whatever reasons why that is, but it's just kind of weird to now watch. Here he is trying to be a hard ass again, and it's as if no one even cares. He issued another executive order banning any state or local mandates requiring people to be vaccinated against COVID-19. He's called on the Texas legislature to vote it into law during the current session. I don't know. It's like no one is listening to him. The move came as Texas reported the most COVID-19 patients in its hospitals since the pandemic began. It's everything. The numbers are a bad look for him. So he's got to win the hard-ass vote or whatever this is supposed to be. And that's just not working for him. He's not. The latest poll, the first poll for 2024 came out, and I think it's going to be the same all the way out. For a guy who wanted to break through early on by kissing up to Trump, it's not working. It's just not working. His ban is an executive order to fill a loophole left by the full authorization of the Pfizer vaccine. It was good reporting early this week that once the FDA approved this, that the language that he originally used meant emergency, if it's only emergency use. Now it's full authorization, which means that his executive order didn't work. And so he decided, well, I better come back with another one. And no one cares. What are you going to do about it? It seems to be the answer. What are you going to do? Vaccine requirements and exemptions have historically been determined by the legislature. I don't even know historically what. What example historically are we using? I mean, when was our last pandemic? Their involvement is particularly important to avoid a patchwork of vaccine mandates across the state of Texas. Man, this is not working for you. And not only does it look like people are going to defy you, it looks like people don't even care what you're saying now. It almost appears as if the legislature doesn't care what he's saying now. It feels like he is irrelevant right now. And that is not a good place to be for a guy who needs to jump into the MAGA hat race, who wants to be in the MAGA hat race and can't even get on the radar of the MAGA hat race. You know, I don't want to say I told you so, but I mean, it's somebody, I'm sure he's thought of this. Somebody would point out, you know, it would have been much easier all along. I'd look a little less goofy and feel a little less marginalized. Remember, I mean, he's got to turn to somebody and say, yeah, I've been taking your advice now for a while. I did the wall thing. I did the public donations for the wall. I kissed his ass. And what did it get me? I got nothing, man. His sons are doing better than I am. So whoever's in this office right now giving me advice, you got it all wrong. It's not working for me. Ted, everyone hates Ted Cruz, and he's ahead of me. But he says, you know, it would have been really easy for me. It would have been very convenient for me and probably the right thing to do for me to say, it's not up to big government. You guys work it out at a local level. It would have been such an easy thing to do and say, and it would have been different. Now, every time somebody defies him, and they are, he has to pass another executive order that seems to be increasingly irrelevant. So either correct, agree, or disagree. Either he now says, call that the moral leader of all people, Ken Paxton. Ken, you got to go crack down on some people. You got to crack some heads. You got to raid some places. You got to do something. Go take over AISD. Scale the buildings. Do something. Or he has to shut up and just accept people aren't going to follow him and move on. Right? Because if he has been doing this stuff only for politics, Ron DeSantis is a jackass with big jackets and it's working for him. Trump kids or whatever, and it's working for them. Ted Cruz doesn't matter, but it's sort of working for him. Greg Abbott's the one trying to pass all these laws and sound like a tough guy and a Trump butt kisser, and it's not working for him at all. At all. He can't break through. Or if he believes in this, if he believes in his executive order and he believes in his crackdown, then he has to be sitting there today saying, they are defying the law. They're not listening to me. We got to go get them. Get them with something. Start handing out $1,000 tickets. That's what he has to do next. He either has to give up on this stuff or hand out $1,000 tickets. Agree or disagree? And that is even if you assume, which is a ridiculous assumption, but if you assume he's not doing this for politics, he is, but assume that he's not, then he either has to believe in what he's saying and hand out tickets, or he has to shut up and let it go. What else? Because right now, today, They're moving along without you, man. Districts are just going to keep moving along. Everyone is saying, one, I don't hear you, buddy. But number two, I heard you. What are you going to do about it?
From the Hot Pie Media Studios in Austin, Texas, it's the Jeff Ward Show. Listen at jeffwardshow.com.